Hello Cap. Nice to see you again. Please remember to start your A cars. I am ready for electrical power up procedure.
Right, good evening, good evening. It's really dark here. I'm going to start getting the lights and stuff going. Let's see, that's a bit bright. There we go, that's better. You can see what we're doing. Right. Marius, welkom. Kom jou hier te sien. Ek het amper gaan slaap en toe besluit ek nee, nou gaan ek eers vlieg. I have a bit of a backtrack to do. Hello Attila, welcome. Right, let's look at some.
Ground flight deck hose is connected and flight attendants, please proceed for departure.
Oh, okay, didn't want to do that. Now he's probably closing the doors. I hope not.
Okay, the cabin is secured. Have a good flight.
That's not what we wanted. Why is my trigger light on the other side now? Okay, let me go check. That must have changed in the EOP. And this would be under what? Rollouts. No. Yeah, that'll be cool. Just hang in there. Hang in there. We'll try and, make it worth your while. Shame, man. I hope they don't call you back. Where on earth is this going to be? Ground power cable. Oh, that's been removed. Position light. I believe that's where I need it. Yeah, so now we can do this. Yes, there we go. That must have changed. Ah, didn't realize. Hello, Toby. Right, let's continue. Hello, John. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. These beta things, man, if you don't um, accept some of the errors and stuff, it will drive you mad. I think that is it. Your damper. And these down a little bit later again. Not that much.
Ground to flight deck, fuel is all loaded up and you are good to go.
$32,000 for us tonight. Yeah, terrain goes down, then goes up. Load. Right, we do not have a departure. We are on our own. We'll vector ourselves a little bit. On the other side, we are taking RNAV on 08. Right, okay, in 004. That's right. Okay, I'm joining them already, but it's wrong because no, I'm literally flying 180 degrees the other direction. So I'm just joining it to get rid of the discontinuity, but we're going to do heading select takeoff. Weather looks good enough for RNAV, so we're not worried about taking the other runway. We can, the wind is not that much. So we'll just check it in the air again, make sure it's fine, but it was when I did the planning, so nice.
Ready for pre-flight procedure.
I run a separate tiller on my Bravo throttle quadrant. The second last lever on the right hand side is actually my tiller. Hello, Gilbert. Don't worry, don't worry. I am literally sitting here enjoying myself, taking it very easy. I'm doing this actually just for my own enjoyment, you know. I mean, I work too much, so I need to get some escape, and this is about it. You'll hear I'm kind of half asleep, you know, so you guys better keep me, you know, on my toes. Hello, Andrew. Botswana. Lekker. Good evening, neighbor. Right, runway heading. Right, we're going to do a bleeds off takeoff again. This time I must remember to set everything back in place. Right, heading, select takeoff. We can do a VNAV as well. It's not aligned yet, so we'll wait for that. How many minutes? 2 minutes. Was that with 29 or still 28? That flight you did?
Alright, we've got everyone strapped in. Give us a ring if you need anything.
Ah, sounds like we're done.
Trim up.
I've got 149. Gotcha, gotcha. But was it with a Zibo or something else? Before start procedure.
Before start procedure.
Yeah, you must enjoy that, Andrew. Zibo, okay.
Before start procedure complete. Ready for before start checklist.
Ground to cockpit, please show me where you want to go. Ground to cockpit, we've got the ETA driving up.
Hey, Sky active. Wow, tell her you love her and you'll make it up to her. You know, be creative. Then we'll see what happens. Gilbert. That reminds me of a joke. I obviously don't know what you look like, but I saw a joke on Facebook the other day. The guy was saying he has such excellent luck that with his bald head, he's obviously, he doesn't have hair. He says he's bound to win a haircut. Amazing luck, apparently.
Chair is connected and Orbx is inserted. Release the parking brake when ready. Okay, starting push back now and you may start your engines.
Start number 2 engine.
Starting number 2 engine.
Right, I'm not going to ask her to do the before taxi procedure because she's going to switch off the APU and I want the APU on, so I'll just run through the stuff quickly.
N2. Starter cutout.
Start number 1 engine.
Starting number 1 engine.
You just got to love the Zibo and the work Zibo does. Look at that curve there in that magenta line.
Station is now complete. Please hit the parking brake.
I mean, it's even made provision
Disconnecting tail, please stand by.
because it knows we're flying totally the different direction that we can actually get a magenta line to fly on it.
N2.
I'm not sure LNAV will use it, but we can try. LNAV doesn't like it, so we'll stick to heading select. At least we've got some direction.
Starter cutout. Engine start procedure complete.
Well, sky active. That's where practice comes in, my friend. You just gotta practice. I mean, I tend to pull a little bit hard in the flare nowadays.
That's been removed and the pin will be on the left. Have a safe flight, see you after.
Thank you, my dear. So I also need to find my happy place again in the flare because the way it's changed now is freaking me out. DB Vetter. No, she doesn't come with. It's a payware add-on from Jar Design, and you buy her in the Explain store. I think she's about $15 US. There we have it. Right, so we're not going to ask her to do these things. We're quickly going to run through this. We need our probes on. Right, so that is done. One must come off, otherwise we blow it in
Ready for before taxi procedure.
very short time. So yeah, you go. You know what? I didn't set up my pressurization. Must be 32. Yes. And landing altitude. Oh, there you go. Lovely. 700, well, 650 is fine. All right. Okay, let's just calibrate this thing again, make sure it's fine. So we don't get an issue with this and then think it's the Zibo code, you know. By the way, she's called Linda. So if you search Linda Copilot Zibomod, Google will find her for you as well. Right, we've got flaps 5. Let's go. The light on. And back to our chart. We need to turn onto the runway over here. Before takeoff procedure.
Before
Hope she doesn't switch off that APU with this one as well. I switched it off probably. I did. Ah! You see. Don't worry, we'll switch it
Before
back on when we
takeoff
get to the other
procedure
side of
complete.
the runway. I did it. I
Ready
I
for
tell
before
you I don't
takeoff
want her to do it,
checklist.
and then I subconsciously go and do it. You see, it's that muscle memory. Damn it.
Approaching 02.
Can you believe it? Ayandile.
On runway
Aye.
02,500.
My wife is also, you know, she said she loves me and she'll play aerospace, but she doesn't want to be co-pilot. Not a chance. Can't believe I snookered myself now like that. Damn it. Right, so according to the MEDOG winds, we have 3 knots coming from the right-hand side and 5 knots on the nose. But this runway is short, it's very short. What's this do? No. Let's do it then, this way. I have absolutely no idea, Andrew. Maybe the guys on stream can help you.
On runway 2.
Really? That's interesting. Papa Mike, I'm talking to you, sorry. Oh, that's weird. But you know what I've learned with these flight simulators? You know, just what works for one doesn't always work for the other, and what's wrong with one doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong for everybody. And it's crazy, man. That's funny. Right, okay. We are centered on that tiller. Right, so let's get this puppy going again. Apologies, gentlemen. We're going to waste 40 seconds now, but it is what it is. The passengers are sitting in the back. Why is it so quiet? What's wrong? What broke? You can already hear the chewing gum going. And the guy's already raising his hand.
On runway 2. On runway 2.
Something's wrong. Right, so APU is on, APU bleed goes in. There you go, gentlemen and ladies at the back. You've got your air back. Then what I want to do is change this. Take off flaps. We're gonna go mad. We're gonna go 25. 15. I think that should be 25. Let's change our trim.
Trim down.
Attila, the reason is we've got a very short runway, right? So what we want to do is we want to take away the engine bleed air. And the engine bleed air is what puts the pressurization, the air, into this metal tube of ours, okay? So what we do is we keep the bleed air off, which means that the engines keep all their power. They don't distribute some of their power out, okay? And then what we do is we use the APU to give air to the people in the back so they don't suffocate. You know, that's basics, basically what we're doing. Right, so let's see. Should be 25. Perhaps 25.
Stabilized.
On runway 20. On runway 20.
Perfect 99. We're flying a Zibomod in the night on an unfamiliar runway. How's it, Steve? Okay, you guys ready? Let's go.
Takeoff thrust set. Throttle hold. V1. Rotate.
1,000 feet remaining.
See how short that runway is.
Positive rate.
That's why you need every little bit of power that you can get. Right, so gear up.
Acceleration altitude.
We paid for the runway, we're using the runway.
Flaps 1 set.
The tiller works until 50 knots and thereafter I'm on my rudders as usual. Right, so let's quickly put these things back in place. Ah, yeah, Linda.
Flaps up and set.
Now we can switch off the AP. There you go, back to normal, back to basics.
Approaching transition.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was actually very exciting for me.
Transition altitude.
It was actually exciting. Oh, gee whiz, John, sorry to hear that. No, this is default night lighting with extended night lights in the distance. Okay, so underneath us, this is default night lighting, but those yellow ones in the distance, that is extended night lights. I've been using it since X-Plane 11, and I mean, it just brings a different dimension to my sim, so I like it. That's a good one, John. As long as you have something to do with them, as long as they bring you joy.
Flight level 100. Landing lights switches off.
Excellent, excellent. Joshua, nice to know.
Logo light switches off.
Yeah, I do not believe that xEnviro does anything to the night lighting yet. That is still to come. It's in the development notes, you know, still to come. So unless Andre dropped something in there that I'm not familiar with, then, you know, then I'm innocent. I can only say what I know, you know. As far as I know, nothing's been done yet. Yeah, well, you won't be on crutches if you're not, eh? So I hope you heal soon, man. I hope you feel better very soon. You know what, John McPherson, why it could also look different is because I use the SimHeaven X sceneries, you know, like X Europe, X USA, X Africa. I'm not sure if that would have an influence on it, but that is definitely in the sim, so it could very well be that. Or at least contributing to the difference in what it looks like. Oh, you know what else it could be, John? Actually, I was talking to Uncle John about this. When was it? Yesterday. Because I shared some of my screenshots with him, and he said to me, "But look at your colors; it's so different." I'm using an AMD card, and I tell you what, it took me quite a while to get used to the AMD colors versus NVIDIA, because I always had NVIDIA. So I'm not sure if that could also be, but based on the conversation that's obviously just popped back in my mind I had with Uncle John, he was saying to me that AMD definitely looks different, and I recall, I mean, I've had this card now for 2 years, so I'm kind of used to it now. You know, I don't see it the major difference yet, but I promise you, it took me a while to get used to the different way of AMD graphics. It's much more vibrant, much more deep colors, you know. Red is more red, blue is more blue, you know, those kind of things. So maybe that is actually the answer. Cool. Robson. I am one of the team members. I am not Zibo. I don't write the code. That's his work. I'm not Twixter. He makes the flight model. I suppose I'm just the pretty face of the project. How's that for a good answer? I obviously test the aircraft as well. Do support on it, all kinds of other nice things, but yeah. No, I'm not a developer. The developer's name is Lubos, and his nickname is Zibo, and he makes the Zibomod. And then, like I say, I've been helping him for 7.5 years already, almost 8 years now. I have all kinds of other functions, but I'm not a coder, and I don't do the flight model stuff. You know, I mean, I don't physically change things. I test them, and I recommend things, and I research things, and I, you know, make sure that everybody gets their copies, and I pay certain fees and things, you know, so I'll keep the system going, but that's it. Robson, it depends on how you look at the project. The project is owned by Zibo, Lubos, right? And Twixter is the next guy in line. Then from Twixter, it's me. And then from me, it's all the actual real pilots that we have. But we also have the in-house testers, McTrying and Paul, Uncle John, and a couple of other guys, you know, that are contributors. Okay, we all contribute something to this project. So in total, depending on your perspective, you can say, yes, it's a single guy because there's only one coder, but it's also not a single guy because he can't do everything. You know, otherwise I wouldn't have had a job. McTrying wouldn't have had a job. You know, we can go through the names list. Twixter wouldn't have a job. You know, we each have our function in the team. But basically, in essence, if Zibo drops off the radar tomorrow, he goes on a sabbatical to the Himalayas or something like that, you know, we're not going to continue with the Zibomod. He's the only guy driving it because it's his baby. He made it. He created it, you know, and so depends on your perspective. Hello, Mikma.
Hey Nico, how you doing?
Okay, and you?
Fine, thanks. I just noticed you got on air, so I jumped in.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, let's get back to Andrew. Zibo's words to me when I asked him about Explain 11 was, yes, he wants to do an update for Explain 11. He just doesn't have the time, okay? Now, there's a couple of things you need to understand. A lot of the work that has been done in Explain 12 is not compatible with Explain 11. So even if he does one more upgrade in 11 just to close it off, it will never be comparable to the Explain 12 model. Okay, so he said he wants to just tune the engines a little bit, and he wants to fix one or two things he doesn't like. Okay, so you're literally talking maybe of 5 little issues he wants to fix. I'm obviously, you know, at a loss as to exactly how many. It could be 6, it could be 10, you know, but it's a very few. There's a very short list of things he wants to do in Explain 11, and then he's moving on, you know. So it might end up being just one last final update, more than likely, you know, because life's moving on. I mean, we're working hard in X-Plane 12, and we all have jobs and families and things. And to do this just for the fun of it, you know, the hobby takes a lot of time. So, yes, there is one coming. Might be two of them, but there's not going to be many left. It's literally at the end of life. So, my advice would be to rather, you know, start saving up and moving to X-Plane 12. Makes sense, Robson. You're welcome, Andrew. How's it, Nathan? Yeah, good to see you too. It's not often that I really fly this late. You know, here in South Africa, it is already just after 10 p.m. You know, but this evening I just had the urge, you know, the notion to just quickly, just fly one before I go to bed. You know, so I also need to enjoy all the work we put into this aircraft. I can't just work the whole time, you know. So this is my relaxation time now. Hello, Christer. Okay, so I don't know how many of you guys were present when I did the stream a day or so ago when we discussed the ILS approach. Today we're going to do an RNAV approach. So if you guys want me to chat you through that, we can do that as well. I think I'm just going to throw it in there so you guys get a little bit of an understanding. And then what we'll do is, let me just check if we can use Ian. We can talk about Ian as well. Yeah, there we go. Right, so we'll talk you through the RNAV bits and pieces. And for those of you that don't know who Ian is, or what Ian is, it's basically a function of the aircraft that is an option. You as an airline can buy the option to have Ian installed. And what it does is it condenses and it basically takes, I think they said it's 18 different approach modes, and it turns it into a single ILS type of approach. Okay, so you'll see it's going to look exactly like ILS. You're going to press the approach button, you're going to get the same kind of cues and everything. But where your ordinary ILS runs from your base stations and the beams, you know, that these radios send up and you ride down on the beams. this runs off RNAV, which runs basically off the FMC. And so it just makes it easier to train your pilots, you know, in your airline. If you've got EN enabled, you don't have to teach them a VOR or an NDB approach. You don't have to teach them LNAV, VNAV approaches. I mean, obviously they can't get the job if they don't know how to do that. But, you know, it just makes life so much easier to change all of these funny little approaches that, you know, been designed over time and crept into aviation, and just turn them into a Cat 1 ILS. Basically, and it all runs off the FMC. That's what we're going to do. I know you know, Christer, you're clever. You've been around. Christer, yeah, I'm not really testing the update. I'm actually relaxing for a change. This is me relaxing. What do you mean my buttons look different? I use the A2 model. Are you still on the A1 model of the FMC? You know you can change it, eh? A1. Then it looks like PMDG. See? The old style. Old ancient style. Go back to A2. This is the new one. It looks totally different. Not sure if that's what you're referring to. I was sitting here last night. I was talking to a guy here on Discord. Now I'm saying last night. My day is so blurred. I can't even remember. It was early this morning. It could have been early this morning. And I was basically reading all the questions he has. And one of the things that struck me is product knowledge is missing. You know, he obviously wants to learn. He obviously, you know, wants to get into things, but because he doesn't understand or know all the settings here and the possibilities, you know, it's kind of limiting him. And I was actually thinking maybe one day we must just do a stream and then I just run through this with you, kind of like the EFB install guide, just give you some tips and tricks and show you how I set it up and all these things. Because if you guys don't know the product, it's going to be very difficult to explain certain things to you because you simply didn't set it up, you know. So this must be a hell of a daunting for somebody that's starting new on the Zibomod to go through all of these settings and to try and understand what they all are, you know, especially when I tell you that we can configure this aircraft to represent any Boeing 737-800 from 1995 or 96 up until today. We've got all the variants in here, and you just know, we need to know how to set them to get the different generations of Boeing set up in your system, you know. And it's very important when we say to you guys, you know, go read the manuals. We're not trying to be funny. We're trying to make you understand there's homework. You guys need to jump in. You need to start learning the product. You need to start setting up things either the way you want it or to match the airline that you represent, you know. If you fly KLM, you want one setting. If you fly Southwest, you want another. If you fly Ryanair, you want another, you know. And it's quite important, to steal Christer's word there, to actually understand the settings and what do you want to achieve, you know. And then you go set it up, and then you need to remember to save it. It doesn't help you just set it up, you know. Joshua, the latest version of Avitab that you get from the org forum. Okay, remember, this is not the Avitab. This is the Zibo EFB. Only that button is the Avitab. So that plugin that you get from the org. You need to get the latest version. Then you go to routes. You have to export the FMS plans into your output FMS plans folder, you see. So when you have an FMS plan in there, you can select it, and then it will display the actual route for you. So it's all built into the latest version of the AviTab now, that AviTab plugin. Hello Thunder, good evening. Thank you. Yes, Christer, you're correct. You need to do the homework, man. Exactly. You can also go a little bit further, right? If you understand the file structures that I explained in the Zibo install guide, you can actually go in and save some of your settings. You know, it's in little CFG files. You just need to know where they are and, you know, to back them up. The other thing that I'm not sure you guys understand, or you might know or might not know about it, is in my Google Drive, I've got a specific folder that I call my private hangar. Okay, and in my private hangar, for me on my computer, it obviously now looks like this. Let me show you quickly. Right, so this is what it looks like on my computer, but you guys will obviously, you know, access it through the link in the notes below the video. You can click there on private hangar and you'll get exactly to this place. And then you see there's my EFB settings. If you go in there, I took screenshots of all of them. This is how my aircraft is set up. So if you want to start somewhere, you know, go open it. See, there's all the screenshots are there. This is how I set up my aircraft. So if you just want to copy what I did, there you go. There everything is. Silly little thing. There you go. So you can see all my settings is exactly here. One of the interesting things, the difference between how I use it and how I wrote the install guide, is this rear galley. I use a slightly different value for the rear galley, but there's a whole story behind that as well, and it basically comes down to some brief doing funny things. But anyway, so yeah, you guys need to rate that hangar every now and then. Go in there, have a look, see what's there, you know, see if you can use some of the information, because there's loads of information in this. A lot of my configuration files are in there. I haven't really done house cleaning in it a little bit. Maybe I should look at that too, because there's one or two things I just realized is no longer really necessary. But anyway, it's there, you know, you guys can go have a look. That's it, Steve. Okay, so we're at about 100 nautical miles. So this is what I recommend for if you've got a little bit of experience already. Otherwise, start maybe at 150 nautical miles from top of descent. So what we want to do is we want to get all our information now so that we can actually start setting up. All right. So, oh, I just noticed we can actually do an LPV approach here as well. That makes it even more interesting. Okay. The reason I say that is, do you see we've got a code in there, 57182. So in the aircraft, if you switch to LPV or GLS, it doesn't matter which one is noted there, it will change it appropriately. We can actually enter that code, so we can put 57182, and then we're going to make it live, and then we want to just scoot over a little bit. I'm going to do the same over there. So it's 57182. Okay, so the difference between an ordinary RNAV approach, which we would have used EN for, and using LPV, is you've got better minimas. So it's more leaning towards a precision kind of approach. So if you have bad weather, I would suggest this is the one you use. Don't just use normal EN, because the minimus will be a little bit higher, and you might still find yourself stuck in the clouds there. No, Matt, we're waiting on Zibo. Not Zibo. We're waiting on Laminar Research. Zibo has done his job already. Okay, the guys at Laminar needs to deliver explain 12.1.3, and then everything will fit in together already. Okay. There you go. Thank you, Christer, for that quick explanation there. What Christer said. Okay. So what happens now is we're going to treat this like an ordinary ILS, while we fully very well know that this is all running off our FMC. This is all RNAV. But it gives us nice precision, better precision. Okay. It's not as precise as ILS, but man, it's good. It's really good. So that was the first thing we wanted. Okay, the next thing we wanted is we want the actual approach course, right? So that's 84. So we're going to quickly dial down. Come on, 84. And 84. Right, then what we're going to look for is our descent altitude. There we have our little cross thingy, you know. We want to go down to 2000. That's where we're going to intersect. Right, so we're going to go down 2000. Obviously, if we're flying with ATC, we follow the descent guidance, but we're not, so we make our own. Right, so that's where we want to be, and then we go look for C. The LPV, it says there, our minimus is 880. All right. The side. I did. Thank you. Okay. 880. Right, let's get our weather. 0990. All right, so we've got that set up. We can go for the break something, and then oops, wrong button. Yeah, it's very nice. Very nice, Crystal. I agree. So now what we want to do is we're going to go to VNAV. We're going to go to forecast, and we're quickly going to grab the rest of the information. Now, again, because this is RNAV, it is imperative that we get the correct QNH. If you don't have the correct destination airport QNH, you're going to find yourself either too high or too low. And just as a matter of a side note, remember, if you're using any kind of ortho program, like AutoOrtho or normal orthos, they might influence the altitude of your airport. Okay, so you might anyway come in high or low, but in the real world, we're talking real world now, you have to be absolutely precise on your QNH, because the whole descent path is going to be calculated based on that. And you really don't want to be too high or too low when you reach your runway, when you need to land, right? So let's quickly do this calculation. We have the airport elevation 665. Current temperature is 11, so that must be -3. The QNH is 990, and then we're going to execute it. All right, we're going to go to progress page, and we see the difference in fuel is 700 kilograms. So That's 3.8 minus the 3.1700, so we need to subtract 700 there, so that gives us 64.7, and that will give us plus that is 148. So now that gives us our VREF. Now the one thing that we can also do here, which I probably can show you, right, is we can go to the next page and we can actually set the runway conditions. It seems pretty good to me. I don't see any rain or anything there. Right, so we make it dry. And then we can do a temperature compensation. So we are at 11 degrees. And our altitude, 665. Alright, and as you can see, because of the temperature, there is a 10-foot difference anyway. So it will compensate the actual approach for us. Okay, in our legs list, if it will show it to us, there you can see a little asterisk and an asterisk. See those little signs? It means these are compensated altitudes. So I didn't show you the legs list before. It's not, no, don't worry about it. You know, it's not important right now. All you need to know is those are compensated altitudes. So this will make sure that we don't hit the ground, you know, just because of the temperature differences. Right, and that's it. So let's check everything. So frequencies, correct. They're both on LPV. Just to zoom in, both of them are there. Minimize set, courses are set. We need to make sure our heading follows the nose there, at least like that. Right, we've got our VREF speeds, we've got the QNH in standby, auto brake is set. Right, let's just make sure I click the button, yes. Okay, let's make sure it's not set. That's good, Krister. Right, and that's it. So, literally, even though this thing is absolutely an RNAV approach, we've turned it now into a simulated Cat 1 ILS. Now we just need to fly. While we are here, we need to just check our go-around altitude is 5,000 feet. Yippee. Okay, so we're all set. On our primary flight display, you can see LNAV, VNAV is selected, and we have our code. Remember that EGNOS LPV code we put in, as well as the required 84 degrees. So that's just to cross-check. So the aircraft knows exactly what we're going to do. Just before we move off this topic, if you go and set your temperature offset and let the aircraft calculate this, the rule of thumb basically says if the temperature is 16 degrees Celsius or lower, you should actually do this, okay? In the old days, the guys, I mean, Sasso taught us how to do this manually, the arithmetic. I think it's still in my training checklist as well. There's a table the guys used to use in the old days. But with the newer firmware, all these, the new things that came with the new FMC software, this is actually very nice to have it built in now. The 16 degrees Celsius or below, it's a good idea to do this, and then it will compensate for you. Steve, if I'm wrong, you can correct me, but I think that is what was said. It's 16. I can also double check that. Yes. And it did a compensation, even though it was 10 feet. It's still 10 feet. That's 3 meters, eh?
Approach top of descent.
Exactly, Christer. The difference between a mountain peak and having an undercarriage left or something like that, you know. That's cool, Thunder. Thank you for stopping by and have a great rest of your day. We'll talk soon again. Yes, Christer. I was just thinking the same. Oh, absolutely, Krister. Sky Active, thank you so much. Send our regards to your family. Go rest up and we'll see you next time. See, this runway is a little bit short though. Only 2,300 meters, 7,546 feet. Thank you, Sky Active. Here's the runway, so we're gonna go fly past it, turn to the left on that RNAV approach there, and come to our thing and land. Hello, Sean. Then it's identified our runway as well as our DME. There you can see the normal cues. I said it's turning into a normal ILS type of approach.
Flight level 100, landing lights switches on.
Hello, Tommy. No, it's fine. It's fine. Hope you're well. Yes, Tommy. No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm glad I did this flight. I almost didn't do it, but I'm really glad I did. I'm really relaxed now, eh? Yes, Krista. 100%. That's why we have that decel little warning there as well. So we're going to use it. Identified Zibo is constantly tuning, so there could have been something that changed, but the way that I use the Zibomod in combination with my tiller, I don't have any issues right now, and that has all been taken care of. I had some, just like some of you guys, but I don't have any at this moment. This is the latest version, so and it seems pretty stable and fine to me. Christer, sorry, I missed your last question there. You said, do you have any other way to see this? Now, I think it comes, apart from the decel point that usually shows up around about there, okay, during your approach, it comes down to training and understanding. I mean, by this time, the pilot flying this aircraft should know that you simply cannot, you know, be too fast in that area of operation, you know. Shall help the aircraft slow down a little bit. And remember, especially in RNAV, when you do any type of RNAV
Flaps 1
approaches,
set.
your speed needs to be proper. Otherwise, you're going to end up high or low again because you're going to overshoot and it's going to be all over the place. You have to make sure. Yes, you can set the leg to be a hard 185 or below, as you mentioned. You can do that too. See, now there's another deceleration point there as well, so we're going to use that as well. We're going to go down to at least flaps 5. And if we need to go slower, we'll go flaps 10. If you are too fast, the magenta line is going to bulge out here. You'll see it's going to have a bulge. And the slower you get, the more capable the aircraft becomes of taking the turn. The bulge will get lower, it's, you know, smaller until it's, you know, on the line. Very, very grand, these things. Very clever. Right, and we said 5,000 for the go around, so we're going to wait a while until we put that in, but we're getting there. So there you can see, look, our anticipation cues just like an ILS. Our data's there just like an ILS. Alright, I can actually put the speed brake back, right? Alright, there's flaps 10. Right, so I see we just lost our vertical cue. Just gonna wait until that comes back. Into Summers, hello. Really interesting. Not sure why that happened, but I'm gonna hit the approach button. Ah, there you go. There it's back. Right, so it's going to latch onto the localizer in parentheses and also the glide slope, just like, you know, ordinary ILS. Hello, Peter.
Radio altimeter. Peter? No, Peter. Yeah, Erwin.
Ready for landing.
No. You, Erwin. Peter is on the stream. He came in with you. How's it, Erwin?
Just joking. I saw that, yeah.
Good. How are you doing? There we go.
Yeah. How are you?
Good.
Doing ordinary ILS, I see.
Negative. No, this is EGNOS LPV. And I'm saying it turns out to be, you know, very similar to ordinary ILS if you do everything correctly.
No, I heard you talk about ILS,
Yeah.
so I thought. This is the second time you testing the 29 or not?
No, first flight.
Cabin crew, take your seats, prepare for landing.
We've got a bit of a grab going there. Yes, Christer. Correct.
put in a route in the group flight to TVAT, but there is no runway 14 charts anymore
Oh,
in Navigraph.
okay.
Approaching 08.
I could find one out of 2019 or something.
But is it still in the scenery?
I don't know.
Yeah, you better check.
You just got to find out.
Cleared to land runway 08.
Decision height. 400.
Is that too high, or can't I see the red lights?
No, there's only one red light. There's a mismatch between the actual glide slope and the visual display here, very definitely. There we've got the 2 red lights.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Speed break up.
Ah, this thing is telling me I landed at 482. We didn't even get a bump.
Auto brake in use.
Sometimes this plugin is just weird.
It was a nice landing.
Yeah, I think so too.
60 knots. Nice landing. Really not bad this time.
Hang on a second. Hang on. I don't think that's where we get off. That was misleading. Sorry, guys. Why are we still turning? Huh? Oh, I lost my connection to my controller, that's why. No, it doesn't feel better. No, I'm worried about this flare, I must be honest. I'm going to have to speak to Zibo and Twixter about this flare. For my system, yeah, it just doesn't feel good. It's oversensitive. The moment I just touch it, it just pulls my nose up too high. If you guys are really critical and go look at the video, you'll see it was doing a bit of a yo-yo effect, you know, up and down, up and down. It literally is not what I'm used to.
Yeah, I saw that. Peter has the same problem.
Okay.
I've got no problem at all with that. Strange, huh?
Yeah, that's weird. It's something that I'm gonna really have to speak to the guys about, because it's beyond me why it would be like that in my system. Anyway, there you can see the name. It's called Stable Approach, and it gives you a nice little breakdown of everything it determines that you did or didn't do. My only comment on this thing is that sometimes, like now, it's talking a bit of porkies when we talk about the landing rate. So my advice to you would be enjoy it, but don't go and kill yourself because it tells you porkies, you know, because that was not 482 foot per minute landing. Yeah, anyway, right, after landing procedure. Come, Linda. After landing procedure. Come on. Why is she not listening to me? And it's the second time she's done this on this procedure. After landing procedure.
She's got the music on, Nico.
Probably, yeah, that iPod, I'm going to throw it out
Trim
the
down.
window. Oh, that's the wrong button. I pressed there. Procedure.
After landing procedure.
Silly woman. That's good, Sean. No, that's good. Right, so
After landing procedure
I
complete.
think I'm off. Let's go back up somewhere. Probably into Sims. Spiteful little girl. I'm not sure where to park, so I'm just gonna follow the line.
Flaps
Stop
up
where
and
it
set.
takes me.
You gotta give Linda some chocolate sometimes.
I suppose, yeah. Some flowers, red roses or something. I don't know.
You know how they are.
Yep, yep. Yeah, I've been married long enough to know. Floating, floating. Right, parking brake is set. Right. Shutdown procedure. No, she's not listening. Wrong button. Shutdown procedure. See, now she listens
Shutdown
again.
procedure.
Yeah, camping right here. Promise you, right here. So, I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I hope you guys go and practice your
shutdown
LPV
procedure.
approaches and things, now that you know a little bit more, and that you will enjoy the Zibomod again. Some more. I'm just filing my flights. Well, flight into the VA. Investigating.
Shutdown procedure complete.
Okay. Right, I'm off. You guys must have a lovely rest
Ready
of your
for the
day,
shutdown
and we'll
checklist.
see you guys soon again. Bye bye. Thanks for watching and being here.
Yep. Same. Have a good night. See